So sorry, but I'm not taking off my glass.
Lockyer takes a shot, it's low! He's got it! I think he's got it!
Merlin, are you going to speak?
But for me, it was a winner. David.
Well, I'm afraid it wasn't for me, Margaret.
Thank God you're here. Grandma's been raped.
On.
That's it, dude.
That's it. We're done.
That's as clean as it gets.
80. Welcome back to On the Air Tonight.
Welcome back.
The only free-to-air podcast reviewing free-to-air content.
I'm Jake.
I'm Tom, and I think we're off to a huge week this week.
Yeah, absolutely. We've had
a very fast start.
We've been in hibernation for a couple of weeks, thanks to Daddy ScoMo. Well,
Yeah.
Not even Daddy ScoMo. It's been Anastasia. We couldn't record last week due to lockdown.
So it's funny having a week off the mic.
Mm.
I think you come back with I think you realize what you don't have once you only realize what you have until you don't have it.
Yeah. Yeah.
Now I realize what I have.
The grass is always greener. I can complain about having a busy week, especially like finishing at like 5:36. I'm like, got to go record and then edit and stuff like that. But then like the last couple of weeks has just been boring. It's like, I've got nothing else in my life apart from podcasts and work.
So it's so good to be back in Trademark Studios.
It is, mate. It is.
You realise, I need this.
We're back in our second
More
home.
than I'd like to admit.
It's an addiction now.
Yeah. Ooh. How was your week off?
Yeah, good. I'd like to say that I did some productive stuff, picked up a new hobby, but that'd just be lying to our faithful audience.
Be honest, man.
No, so we've had. I suppose it's technically because we recorded a couple Sundays ago.
Yeah, it feels like we've had 2 weeks off.
Yeah,
but to the viewer, it's only going to feel like one.
Yeah. So had a good weekend. Caught up with some mates for some drinks on Friday night, and then had my Nan's 90th on Saturday. Happy birthday, Nana!
Happy birthday, Nana Purya.
Yeah, she's an Earl, but
Nana Earl. It's a very fitting old name.
It is.
It's just a male.
Claire Earl.
Claire Earl.
I'm just doxing my Nans.
Jesus. What's Earl? What's the male version of Claire Earl's first name?
Cletus? What do you mean?
No, her husband's.
Oh, right. You mean her partner?
The male version of her, yeah.
You could have just said that. Like, are you saying if my fucking Nan transitioned?
Granted, that was a weird way to ask.
Yeah.
But I don't know your Nan's dating history. Or David Earl.
Yep.
Yeah, okay.
Fucking
2 first names.
Powerful woman. She had 7 kids.
Wow.
Yep. Raised the 7 kids. Fucking Pop had 3 jobs at a time.
Of course he did. Look at us.
Yeah.
Look at them and then look at us.
Yeah, it was kind of cool seeing like how big the family was, because I've got like 30 cousins on that side of the family, or like 15 to 20 at least. And yeah, seeing them all come together. No great grandchildren. It was a special request from Nan. She's like, I just don't want to hear fucking kids running around screaming.
Oh, none allowed in the premises.
No. So it was,
Really?
she could have her kids, which is the 7 like aunties, my aunties and uncles. And then the youngest generation was my generation. And I'm the youngest of the 3rd generation. So
Right.
I was the baby there.
Right. So everyone got babysitters for the really young ones.
Yeah, pretty much. Yeah.
What's Nan's reasoning there?
I think just like a lot of family events, she's just, as I said, like I think just getting old, and she doesn't want to have like kids running around screaming. It can be a little bit overwhelming for her.
Yeah, okay.
So she just wanted to have just a day with her kids and grandkids. No knock against the great grandkids, but
the kids can fuck up your bingo game, you know?
Yeah, exactly. I mean, didn't need the kids to fuck up the bingo game. Shout out to Mum of Mermaids, my cousin Amy. She was a loose unit. She's a big fan of the podcast, but she was getting fed gin and tonics all day. So like by the time we started like 12.
Getting fed. I like the void of accountability there.
Yeah. Oh, she was, because she wasn't pouring them herself. She'd just be like, Uncle Pete or my brother Trenton, just like, steady, can you get me a gin and tonic? And then come bingo time, which was like probably like 3 or 4 o'clock in the afternoon, she just had like 7 or 8 G&Ts in the space of a couple of hours, and was just yelling at people. And like, because we've got a big family, she's like, I want my kids to grow up with a big family. And she's like yelling at my cousin Ned, who's a year older than me. She's like, Ned, what are you gonna have some kids? So my kids can have cousins, you dickhead. Just
Is Ned in a position at all to be having kids? Is he with someone?
Nah, he's
So not even close.
He's a solo flyer.
It's so rude when a grandma or a cousin is like,
So when are you gonna settle down? He's like,
I'm single.
leave me alone.
Excuse me. I'm like 8 steps away from having kids or even thinking about it.
Yeah, and you're throwing pressure at me. So it was very rowdy bingo, but wholesome weekend.
It's always good to be a child who's brought into a world solely to please to relieve the pressure of a relative yelling at you to have kids. You know what I mean? It's like you weren't born because your parents wanted to have you and they were ready to have a child. You're purely on this earth because grandma was leaning on us a bit too hard.
100%. We've all
Always
been
makes
there.
for a happy
where
childhood.
We've gotten to that ripe old age where we're in the twilight of our 20s. Using a little alliteration there. We'll get to some more we'll get to some more alliteration later in the episode. But
I think ACA are hiring, mate.
my mom's actually pretty good at it. She's not nudging me because I'm not in a position to at all, being a single bloke. But like looking at like my brothers who are in like long-term relationships, she's like, so when am I going to have another grandkid?
Yeah. Yeah, it's like, all right, I'll pop one out just for you, mate.
Your parents like that, just leaning on your sister and her partner.
Mum and dad are really good. Like dad's just a big like do whatever the fuck you want. Like the kids will figure it out.
Shout out to Pap.
Shout out to Pap. So supportive from
I don't care.
the comment section.
As long as you don't make me stay at fucking brunch more than an hour and a half.
Yeah, I'm over it. I'm going home.
He probably realizes like I'll be copping babysitter every weekend if any of you have any kids.
Yeah. Yeah, Dad's got a shout out Paprika. I'm sure you're listening, but I was telling Jake that, and I don't think Dad will mind me admitting this, but Dad has he has a social clock. He has there's a point to any lunch or dinner where everyone's sitting around having a good time, and then it's kind of Dad will just get up and go, all right, that'll do me.
You and your mum are both extroverts, just having a lovely old chat. He's like, I'm going to sit in the car.
Yeah,
I'm going to play Bejeweled.
Yeah, I just had enough of this. I just downloaded Tomb Runner back on my fucking iPhone 8 and I'm ready to go.
No, I just put like $40 into Clash of Clans. I'm done with this. I'm done with Eggs Benny.
But it's like, it's not that he doesn't enjoy the company. Like he's like any parent usually who loves nothing more than being around the people he loves. And he's like, he never complains about going to the social events or being at them, but he just can't sit around at a long lunch for like 3 hours while everyone's just getting pissed. He's like, I've got to go lie on my bed. Yeah. He's got no other plans. He has to get out of there.
There's an admiration I've got for that though, because I'm definitely someone who falls a victim to if I'm at an event where I'm like not outstayed my welcome. That's probably the wrong term, but like I'm just like, kind of just
getting a bit over it.
I'm a bit over it, and I'm just like, it'd be rude to leave at this point. Like I've got to stay around for another couple of hours until people start to make the move. Yep. I don't want to be the first one to smoke bomb.
See, Pap would not give a fuck.
No.
And he'll do the thing where everyone's at dinner, they're doing the hugs, goodbyes. You know, Gran, so nice to see you, Pop. You know, have fun at bowls on the weekend. Everyone's full of wine and love. And Dad won't do any of it. He won't hug anyone. He'll just be in the car. And he's like, all right, toots, back it up.
Is your family like mine where you've got like a family event and if you try and leave, if you want to leave at 3 o'clock on the dot, you've got to start saying goodbyes at like 2:15?
Yeah, and it'll be Dad rounding. It'll be Dad starting that train.
Yeah. Because you got to say goodbye to everyone and like, we'll catch up. We got to do this or check this out. Yeah, listen to my podcast.
Yeah, you've got to get the plugs in.
Oh, mate,
you have to get the plugs in.
If your family, the people, your rellies can't support you with that, then no one can.
Have you told your nan about the podcast?
No, I think she's kind of aware of it. Like she's like, oh, how's the radio thing going?
Right, okay.
I hadn't mentioned it to, but like Amy, who was I just mentioned before, shout out cousin Amy, mum of mermaids. She mentioned it to her dad, Uncle Brian, who was one of the favorite uncles. I mean, I loved all my uncles growing up, but like I remember like the last family event that I went to.
Everyone has a favorite uncle.
Yeah. So he was at this family event. He's probably like he's like 65, 66 now, so he's retired. Yeah. And he's like, I heard you've got a bloody radio show or something, mate. And like Amy was like, it's a podcast, Dad. It's a podcast. And he's like, oh yeah, podcast. And I was like, oh yeah, did you give it a listen? And he's like, yep. I was like, what'd you think? He's like, didn't like it. I was like, I couldn't respect you any more than I do now. Just not pulling any punches. Like, it's not my cup of tea.
That's what you want from your favourite uncle, though.
Yeah.
He's not there to fuck around.
He's not there to fluff me
He's
up.
not going to sugarcoat it. I didn't like it.
Any person who talks to me at the podcast, whether it's genuine or not, hopefully most of the time it's genuine. It's, oh man, been loving what you've been doing this week, blah, blah. So to hear refreshing, sobering, nah, sucks.
Not into it.
Didn't say it sucked. You're just like, yeah, I don't like it at all. Two young blokes shooting the shit.
Yeah, yep. Was that the extent of the notes that he gave? Was he just like, I didn't like it? Did he tell you why I didn't like it?
Pretty much. I think Amy was like, Dad, you can't say that. Like, I was like, no, yeah, I'm always open to feedback. He's like, it just wasn't my cup of tea. Don't really like it. I was like, fair enough.
Sick. Yeah, it's I mean, the fact that your family are across it is interesting. I mean, my grandparents, like, I'm very close with them and talk to them. I'd like to say once a week, but that's probably being generous. Like once a fortnight, but they live on the Gold Coast, so it's hard. But when we see each other, we're very close.
You sent your nan flowers on Mother's Day. That's some pretty admirable grandson stuff.
She's a mum.
You're showing me up.
She's my mum's mum. It's Mother's Day.
Baby's mamas.
Yeah. And they have no idea. Like, I've never even brought it up around them because I'm like, I can't begin to explain that I have a podcast, because before I do that, I have to explain what a podcast
is. Yeah.
It's like you would just have, there's no point even getting started.
They're like, so it's a radio show, but it's not broadcast. You just record and then put it somewhere where people don't listen.
It's like you can't even get to that point.
Yeah.
It'll just be that thing of like, oh, I'm proud of you. I don't understand it for the fucking life of me, but I'm sure it's good.
You're looking good, Tommy. You need to eat more, though. You're looking a bit light.
Put a brick on your head.
I don't think you're going to win any arm wrestling contests anytime soon.
Gran, you've been listening.
I got you there, Tommy.
She's like, I'm hook over feather.
You're looking weak.
You're looking weak, boy.
You should be eating more meat.
Pop, I know you're clinically deaf, but chuck these AirPods in and listen to the boys chat.
No, I'd rather be deaf than listen to your bullshit.
He's like, you think this is a coincidence? I've actually got fantastic hearing. Just not for your bullshit.
But yeah, it's definitely...
He's got great hearing until I walk in the room. Every time I show up, he's like, what?
Yeah, and then like you're just like, fucking grandpa, I heard that.
Mum's like, he's a really good chat when you're not around, Tom.
He's actually an active listener.
Oh my God. The last 15 years have been a lie.
But yeah, that was my weekend. How was your bloody weekend, mate? We were just saying before the pod, it's been a hot minute since we caught up.
Yeah, so this is this is going to be 40 minutes of 40 minutes of
jibber jabbering. We're already at. Yeah, who cares?
It doesn't matter. We'll cut it down. I was telling you, I was telling you before, I watched our champion tennis player Ash Barty of Ipswich, Queensland.
Yep. Shout out to the Switch.
Ipswich takes out London. Huge.
Yuck.
Ipswich wins London. Like, when are those two cities mentioned in the same sentence?
That's when you know, the simulation is just going astray when chick from the Switch is just dominating the green.
Yeah, the green. The rubber, the green, the Royals. So that was exciting. Stayed up late and watched that on Saturday night. 11 p.m. start through to about 1 a.m.
Who did you beat?
Doesn't matter.
Doesn't matter. we don't count fucking runners up here, pal. You ain't first, you're last.
It was one of those, like, it was a Sharapova or a Dimiskov or like one of those, like,
it wasn't Osaka or Serena.
No, it wasn't Osaka or Serena. So Osaka pulled out because of the mental health thing. Remember that whole yarn? Osaka said, I'm pretty sure it was for this tournament. It was for Wimbledon. She said, I don't want to do press conferences because it's affecting my mental health.
True.
Wimbledon was like, well, that's fine. You can pull out if you want, but if you're going to be in the tournament, you have to do press conferences.
That's part of the prerequisite if you're going to be playing on the green in front of the Queen.
Yeah, it's like we have a lot of tradition here at Wimbledon, and press conferences is one of them.
It's like, all right, I'll do it, and like, well, you better wear our cardigan then.
And the whitest of whites. Okay.
Did you see what we did with Meghan Markle? All right, we'll kick you all out.
Be afraid. Yeah. I don't want to say we don't like your kind, but you've been watching Oprah lately.
But listen, we won't shut it here if you can't make it to the gala this year.
You will not be given the same privilege that Ashley Barty is given.
There's like, Ash Barty's Indigenous. No, what?
Oh God! Nobody. We let one of them win the highest prestige. A Trojan horse.
Yeah, the Queen's just
Queen's turning in her grave because never had a NAIDOC week in her life.
the grave she'll never see because she'll probably live to 300.
Yeah, it's like the most proud Indigenous fucking moment in the last 30 years, and it's on her stage.
Do you know what I did to your ancestors? That's probably a bit dicey. That might get cut this week.
We're in the deep end at this point.
But yeah, so you watched that on Saturday night.
Watch that. Great to see her. It was like obviously one of the. It will go down as one of the iconic Australian sporting moments. That's up there with Kathy Freeman winning the fucking sprint.
Yep.
Stephen Bradbury winning the ice skates.
Ice skating.
The skatey ice. But it was fucking emotional. Like Todd Woodbridge, the whole commentary team were in tears. They like couldn't call the rest of the game when they won because they were just in tears.
Oh my God.
Yeah, intense.
Yeah,
It's like he's an ex-player and but he never made it to the heights that Ash did. But yeah, it's just crazy to watch a sporting event. Like I don't get patriotic much because I think it's dumb sometimes, but.
Righto, mate.
Well, it's like you don't choose where you're born. Like, why are you proud of the fucking place that you were just?
We do a podcast on Australian content, so
Yeah, well,
I mean, free to air
proud
content.
of half the shit that we talk about.
Nine shows out of 10 is Canadian or
Yeah, no, but you know what I mean. Like patriotism is just like it can be bad sometimes. Look at the Cronulla riots.
yeah, being a nationalist.
But this is one of the few times that I actually that I got patriotic. After the game, though, made me very proud to be Australian and very proud to not be British as well.
Yeah,
Because the fucking post-win tournaments, the victory tournament of presenting the shield and all of the things that they do post-Wimbledon win are so fucking weird.
it's a bit eccentric, isn't it?
It's the most British thing I've ever seen. Eventually Ash has to gets to talk to the Royals like it's a privilege. But the ball boys are kind of spread out in a V, almost in like a
like a bird formation. Almost.
Yeah, like a bird formation, just one line. Two diagonal lines are ball boys who are all standing there nicely. And Kate Middleton, I got that right?
Yeah, Kate Middleton. Yeah,
she comes out and has to do the fake smile and talk to everyone. Yeah, to every just like second or third ball boy and ask them a banal question. Of like,
all right, mate.
Yeah, how was the balls today?
Yes, were they green and easy to catch?
What are you talking about? What's your common ground you're exchanging? How long have you been doing this for? Yeah, a year.
Yep.
How is being 10 years old? Yeah, I don't know.
I don't know. You were 10 once, weren't you?
And then she's doing one side and she looks a lot more natural. But then on the other side, it's just fucking like, I don't know who it was, but some other old royal who's like going the way of Prince Philip.
Yeah.
Like his face is melting off and he's just like barely holding it together.
Just a scrotum of a human.
Literally like a 98-year-old man just talking to 10-year-old ball boys. And it's like as 30,000 polite British people stand in the crowd and just wait politely.
Yeah, just a light applause. Yeah.
But like no applause even. It's just uncomfortable. If it was an Australian crowd or even an American crowd, there would be like some hooting and hollering going on. It's like at least something to break up the fucking silence.
Yeah, that's kind of where Wimbledon separates itself from the other opens.
It's the gentleman's sport.
Yes, you must be very traditional here.
Yeah.
We're going to have tea and scones with jam and cream, and then at about 4 o'clock we're going to go colonize another country.
But yes, Wimbledon is the gentleman's arrangement, the gentleman's tournament.
So yeah, they were going down the V either way, Kate, and then old Sir Scrody McBoogerballs.
Yeah, Scrody McFuckface. and it was just the most fucking uncomfortable thing I'd ever seen. And I just wanted someone in the crowd to be like, this is weird, or like fucking break it up with something.
Boo!
Yeah.
Get your tits out.
And then Ash has to go. It was really good insight into what they go through after they win, because they do the interviews on the court. She holds up the shield. She does the photo up there. And then the camera stayed on her the whole way for a good 20 minutes afterwards, all the way back up through the bowels of the Wimbledon stadium.
The tunnels, yeah.
And she goes up and meets Kate and Will, and they have a awkward chat.
Yes.
She's just little Ipswich, g'day. Yeah, I won the
Oh,
tournament.
so Ashley, call me Ash.
Yeah, it's a little 5'5" Ash Barty.
It's Barty, isn't it? Barty.
Barty. It's actually Barty.
It's a Barty party.
Yeah. So we'll be having a party tonight. Yeah, forever, mate. And then she goes and meets them, has a chat, and then she goes up and she goes up to like the ledge where the public had been looking down, and she like holds the fucking plate up for them.
Does a weird, just like, picturesque, like uncomfortable smile.
Yeah. And then finally goes and gets to see her team and her partner and her family afterwards, and that's when she finally lets her hair down and like showed some emotion. She was like,
but she had to be fully composed.
Yeah.
For that whole time.
Yeah, just like the fake smile. And it's just funny seeing the Royals come out and seeing Kate Middleton come out and like smile and do the fake smile at the Ball Boys after that Oprah interview where Meghan Markle came out and was like, yeah, I faked, like everyone knew that the smiles are fake the whole time and they're being forced to do it. But when you hear someone on the record say it, it's like every smile you see the Royals do after that is like, oh, they're faking it.
Yeah.
It's on the record and being said, and
you got to peek behind the curtain.
Yeah, you got to peek behind the curtain, and it's all bullshit now.
Yeah.
So it's like now you see it in public and it's like, oh, it's all bullshit.
Short of being on your deathbed, you better be at Wimbledon. You better be in a $10,000 gown. And you better be ready to smile politely at the people and go, oh, yes, lovely, jolly good show.
And ask the Ball Boys how their balls are.
How are your balls today, Thomas?
How are your balls, boy?
Have your balls dropped, Thomas? No, ma'am, I've caught them every day. That boy.
That a boy. Is it new balls? We've got new balls, yes.
God, how fucking dirty would you feel if they were like, all right, we need the Ball Boys to line up on either side, and you're like on the side where you get interviewed by the
old man,
maybe the pedophile,
yeah, fucking Captain Death.
It's like, oh, I could have been interviewed by Britain's sexiest, one of the most elegant women.
Yep, and she like. It's still uncomfortable for all of them, but at least it's fucking that. At least it's her. Yeah, the other guys are like, oh, who is this Grim Reaper walking down the aisle here?
I could have had my sexual awakening to the Duchess of Cambridge. Instead, I'm going to have fucking a sleep paralysis monster torment me every night.
Yeah, this man has now fucked up my sexual
Would you like to come to Buckingham?
It's a great place. We have scones and tea every day.
And dungeons where they can't hear you scream.
They're my favourite. But yeah, other than that, other than watching Barty take it out, not much else.
Yeah,
it's
been a pretty cruisy weekend.
Yeah,
cruisy week
cruisy week.
Yeah, so we're back in the saddle now. It's good to be back. Before we get into the content this week, it is episode 30, ladies and gentlemen. So we do have some special content to review, you might say. Special can be interpreted many ways. In recent years, it may not have been used in its true form, what special means, but this is some truly special content.
It's a generous use of the word special, but we saved the best for 30.
Yes.
We saved the best for 30.
The dirty 30.
But before we get to that, I don't think you've read this one yet. Resident reviewer, part Australian, part Chinese, back again with a 5-star review of Sasquatchin.
Let's go, Lance.
Bit of context just before I do read this one out. Cast your memories back to episode 29 when I was complaining about how you get individual praise.
Oh yeah.
It definitely comes down to like something deeper.
Tom's daddy issues definitely came out that episode. Mine are going to stay locked away in a closet for many years.
I wear my baggage on my sleeve. What can I say? I'm not a coward.
Yeah.
Yeah. So just remember that going into this review.
All right, yeah. So you're about to get your ego stroked, pampered.
Who knows? Maybe I was just better this episode.
Right.
Another 5-star episode. Strange choice in Sasquatchin, but somehow, strangely, it works. People's individual belief system is always complex, and believing in ape men isn't that different than believing God lives up in heaven.
Fair enough.
P.S. It's obvious Tom carries this show.
Lance, what are you doing to me? My confidence is ruined.
I don't know, man. It's people call it how they see it. His insight is flawless. He must have a strong back from lugging around the dead weight.
How much did you pay him this week?
Roasted.
Oh, Lance, you've done me dirty.
I had nothing to do with that.
So how long have you known your dad's password for?
It's not.
Yeah.
It's Jordan 22. It's my sister's name, probably. The other favourite. And therein lies the... What? The passcode wasn't my name. I was named after my sister, the favourite child. Why don't you just make it fucking Jacob?
Yeah, the son you never had.
Yeah.
Oh, well, fuck you, Lance. If I see you, it's on site.
Hey, you can't throw away weeks and weeks of a good relationship over one shitty review, man.
Yeah, you're not
Remember,
wrong.
he's like
Until
you.
someone calls me Deadwood. Dead weight.
Dead weight. Yeah, maybe that was a bit far, but...
No, that's definitely just like someone desperately trying to put back the pieces of a broken vase together with sticky tape and glue. Just
Yeah.
Yeah, he really carries it. He's the person who carries all the content every week.
You know that he's leaving that review and winking at you at the same time and going, man, you know you're still my favourite. Don't tell Tom.
I'm acting surprised, but he actually texted me. He's like,
Yeah.
don't leave me.
I know you boys are in cahoots. And he's just pretending he likes me.
Well, if you'd like to leave a review and this time praise me instead of Tom, you're more than welcome to. Anything outside of that, still leave a review, but you're going to get daggers stared at you next time I see you.
At what point did this show become us competing against each other?
When you said you could beat me in an arm wrestle.
At one point we were a united front.
Yeah.
We were in it together.
We started out as friends. How did it end up like this?
Holy shit. But hey, that's fucking whatever gets the yucks, right?
Yep.
Just we'll have the people turn us against each other.
We'll be the people's monkeys, just throwing feces at each other if it gets the laughs.
If we have to.
But if you do want to leave a review, leave one on YouTube. Apple Podcasts, you can also leave a review, but been told there's some technical issues, so I'll have to give some CPR to a decaying Steve Jobs and ask him what's what.
Yeah, I think I've got his email.
Yep.
Yeah,
Okay.
got a direct line to...
Doesn't operate on emails, does he? Just like telepathically airdrops?
Yeah, he airdrops into... That's how he haunts people's nightmares. Do you accept this fever dream
Into your cerebellum.
from Jobs? Wozniak's just like copping one every day. Rogan Wozniak.
Seth Rogen was him.
Yeah.
Was it? No, it was Fassbender.
Fassbender was Jobs. Rogan was
In the good one. I never saw the Steve Jobs movie with Ashton Kutcher.
Ashton Kutcher looked way more like
Steve
than Fassbender did.
Yeah.
But I've heard that the Fassbender one is a better film.
Yeah, the Fassbender one, I can't even remember what it's called, but it is a great movie. And doesn't matter if you look like him, Ashton Kutcher is like, you're comparing a dude who had a reality TV show called Punk'd to probably, top 10 actors of, like, male actors of this generation.
It's true, there's no comparison, but I still think Ashton Kutcher is underrated as an actor.
Yeah, I mean, everyone thought 2.5 Men was done when Charlie Sheen left, and then he came on and just started winning Emmy after Emmy.
I know you're being sarcastic, but I'm in Ashton's corner. Kutcher, I've seen Butterfly Effect, and you fucking give it heaps.
Butterfly Effect is a good movie, except it's got like 5 different endings.
Yeah. We won't get into I don't want to spoil Butterfly Effect. But Ashton Kutcher genuinely gives an okay performance in that.
I'd say a good performance.
Yeah, a good performance. If you look back at the film, it's pretty fucking dated and like it's a bit fucking
cliche.
Yeah, as a kid, it's like that's the coolest shit ever.
What?
Yeah. What you fucking like sliding doors moment? He woke up with no legs.
What is it? A flap of a butterfly wings can cause a tsunami on the other side of the planet.
That's sick, and I'm 13. Also, how good's Tech Decks?
I love pizza pockets, Tech Decks,
and the Butterfly Effect.
And then you discovered porn. You're like, Butterfly Effect sucks.
Yeah, fuck this.
There's no tits in
What
it.
am I watching films for?
But what else has he been in? Yeah. That 70s show. He's pretty good in that.
He's good in that.
Yeah.
I think that's the only time I've ever seen him really stretch himself is Jobs and Butterfly Effect. But I feel like he's got a fucking dramatic. I feel like he's got a dramatic film in him.
Yeah, he did that movie with. It's not a dramatic, but the movie with was it Brittany Murphy where they like
Just Married.
Just Married.
Yeah.
Yeah,
She spits chewing gum in his hair.
that's right.
Dude, Where's My Car? Also not a dramatic film.
Dude, Where's My Car? Good movie.
But like,
I mean, probably aged like milk.
yeah, just plays like a mentally challenged person.
Stoner.
Yes, Stoner.
Speaking of aged like milk, we bring you to our content for this week. We watched, I mean, we always do this. We're like, oh, it's a surprise. It's like, I read the title of the episode.
Ta-da! The big reveal.
Ta-da! We watched A Current Affair, the award-winning decorated #1 journalism show in Australia.
The highest standard of journalism.
Yeah, we genuinely said that when we reviewed 60 Minutes.
Yes.
Back when Pussy was a kitten on this show. Back on,
Yes.
was it episode 2 or 3? I think we.
Yeah, episode 2, the Anthony Seibold era.
Yep, that's right.
That's really showing our age.
With Aaron Mulrat, and then
Jesus.
and then we come to what we truly believe is the finest journalism you'll ever see in Australia.
Oh, fuck. A Current Affair.
Bum, 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 bum.
Is that it? What's it? How's the theme song go?
It's not.
That's it, yeah.
Yeah.
Can you do it
dun,
again?
dun, 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 dun.
Yeah, I can hear it now.
I'm pretty pitch deaf. But anytime I think of Current Affair, all I can think is it the Pendulum who remix it?
That's ABC News, though.
Yep.
Yeah. Yeah, Current Affair is, yeah. Dun, 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 dun.
Yep.
Yep.
That's right. It's a short, like 4-second, 3-second.
Iconic.
It's got nothing on OTAT's intro.
No.
Even though we stole ours from 8 other shows and Phil Collins.
A Current Affair, like, wouldn't be out of place in the OTAT intro. That it's that iconic of a, iconic of a show as a part of Australian free-to-air television.
You're not wrong.
Wouldn't be out of place next to Spicks and Specs theme song.
Yeah. Da, 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 da.
Yeah. Dunno. 40 years? How long has The Current Affair been going for?
It's been going for a hot minute. I mean, we were like, Tracy Grimshaw's been on there. So, yeah, A Current Affair put on every night, Monday to Friday. They've got the slot of 6:30, 7 o'clock for 30 minutes.
It's not going anywhere.
It's not going anywhere. Tracy Grimshaw's held that throne for probably like 15 years now. Before that, it was Ray Martin.
Hosted by Tracy Grimshaw, A Current Affair covers the realms of politics, crime, human rights, science, technology,
And
celebrities, and entertainment, all investigated by a dedicated team. Can't argue with that.
Yeah, you could argue they do certain parts more than others. They left entertainment right to the very end.
Yeah, I think it's ultimately I just love that it's going to be dead soon.
Yeah, okay.
Like, who have you met under the age of 30 who watches A Current Affair every night?
Yeah, can't tell you when I'm some young Polly maybe.
It's like it's your mum that watches it, or even like your grandma.
Yeah,
Who like it will die off.
Nan doesn't watch it. I can tell you that much.
Well,
She'll
she's
watch.
playing bingo.
She's a mad tennis fan actually. Now that
really?
You mentioned Wimbledon. Just to go off tangent about my nan again, but
Did she? And we will get back on track. But on your nan, your 90th party for her was on Saturday.
correct.
It started at midday.
Yeah,
Did she stay up till 1 a.m. and watch Barty win?
she would have gotten up for it.
Oh, so she should have had a nap in between.
Yeah,
Okay.
she's 90, dude.
So everyone took off it.
She's not staying up for 11 hours straight to watch it.
That's what I thought. It was strange.
No, I think she had like a nap at probably like 7 or 8 o'clock. Like
Love
the
that.
party wrapped up at like 6:30.
Okay. Good to know. Good to know that she stayed
If
up.
you guys
for
want a
it.
breakdown of a real breakdown of what really happened at my nan's 90th, and subscribe to our Patreon that doesn't exist.
That's we'll post an in-depth article in the comments
A
section.
play-by-play.
But no one watches this shit anymore, and
No.
and it does make me happy. We tried to watch an episode tonight just from yesterday because
July 9th.
July 9th, because on the Channel 9 website they have 5 episodes at a time, then they take them down the next week's episode.
They expire pretty quickly.
Yeah, and we were looking for the A Current Affair that you probably picture when you hear A Current Affair, which is a journalist chasing a shonky builder down the street.
Yep.
Going, why haven't you paid why haven't you finished this job for this person?
Yeah, the format of like the typical current affairs show is one of those stories where some dirtbag swindles some old innocent people out of their retirement or like pension. And then they'll do a promo story on like a cross promotion of like the new reality TV show Beauty and the Geek. And then somewhere in there, you notice they always do like a sponsored like Woolies like story as well. They're like, this week you could buy bags of chips for this much here, but you can save money buying washing detergent at Aldi.
Shameless.
Yeah.
Woolies have just gone to them, we're going to pay you to promote this product.
Yeah.
We have a special on this week. And then they're like, oh, we do have in our description that we're a journalism show.
Yes.
And they're like, yeah, but just throw all that integrity out the window.
But you
That'd
also
be good.
interviewed Jeffrey Leonard, and that's been your best story for 16 years. So
ACA has never reached the heights of Ben Fordham chasing Jeffrey Leonard down the street. It peaked then. And that was with Ray Martin as host as well.
yeah, that's right.
That was Ray Martin days. That's the kind of weight that Ray brings, and Tracy just doesn't have the pulling power of. Insane interview. If you guys want to watch that, go search Jeffrey Leonard, Ben Fordham, A Current Affair.
Yeah, so we tried to watch 2 episodes recently, but honestly, like you watch those shows because it's like you'd love to just get upset at like how is this news?
Yeah.
How is this informing the public of actual stuff that's going on in our country? But this week has just all been about lockdown in Sydney.
Yeah, and it was just COVID fucking overload. Like it was just like there was a interview. Tracy interviewed Scotty, the PM.
ScoMo.
And then there was another story on like this old codger couldn't get his vaccine. It was just like every fucking different angle around COVID that you could take. And we were like, oh, no, not doing that.
In the 22 minutes of actual like airtime without commercials, I think 16 to 17 minutes was interviewing the PM.
Yeah. And that went for, I think, 2 or 3 episodes that we checked out. They were all COVID related.
Yeah. Boring.
Snooze fest.
We've known about this since a man ate a bat, all right, at a wet market.
Show us some bogans yelling at each other over the fence. That'd be good. We were saying that the reason it's all these fucking boring COVID stories is because they probably can't because of restrictions, they can't do what they do best, which is going out, chasing someone down the street and shoving a microphone in their face.
Yeah, that'll get you thrown in jail for sure. Running up to someone with no mask on, like, give us an interview.
Don't know if that's an essential service. Don't know if that's one of the 4 reasons to leave your house. Go and harass innocent people, defame them to the point of liquidation.
Yeah, the local southwestern Sydney police station was like, look, it was funny, but there's actually laws around that you can't just go doing that anymore. You're not an essential service.
It's for the greater good.
Come on, we're giving the people what they want.
We're looking out for the little guy. This is a current affair. We've been here for 40 years.
Looking out for the little guy while we fucking chase him down with 6 cameras and a boom mic.
Ruin him. I don't know where to start with this. I was watching before Jake got here today. I was getting caught up on my Tracy Grimshaw history. And I think we've spoken about, we might have touched on it in the 60 Minutes episode. She's won a Walkley. Like, she started out doing proper journalism.
Yeah. You don't get to that seat unless you've done your hard yards of proper journalism.
Yeah. And she has the easiest job, the easiest, most high-paid job in journalism at the moment.
Yeah, you'd have to say so, yeah.
She does nothing. She sits at the desk. She's not doing stories anymore. She's not investigating. But, like, and, you know, the whole dead meme is like, yeah, Tracy just sits behind the desk and she doesn't do anything. And it's like, yes, totally subscribe to that. I agree she doesn't do anything. But when an interview needs to be conducted and it's a big interview, you call for the fucking big dog, and it's Tracy Grimshaw.
If you're going to be going near the barbecue when it's on full heat and you need someone to flip those sausages, you want someone with the big fat tongs and the apron says, kiss me on the cook.
Yeah, call Grimshaw. Call her up because
Grim Shady.
There's not many. She won't shy away from anyone.
No.
She'll give it to the PM. I was watching the old Maddie Johns interview.
Yeah.
Where she just fucking tore shreds off him for back in, 2000 and...
Would have been 2007, 2008.
Yeah, early 2000s in the Cronulla sex scandal back then, where Matty John just sat next to his wife Trish and Tracy just fucking tore him apart and
You think because your missus is here, I'm gonna pull punches? You think that right shield's got to work?
Merciless. Literally, you think that meat shield's gonna fucking hold off this barrage?
I've got a fucking garbage truck full of Semtex. I'm gonna blow you to sky high.
Right next to my Walkley that I take with me at all times. Don't forget where I came from.
Polish it with your spit.
So, I mean, it's like you see, it's easy to forget how much of a fucking like hard ass she is.
Heavyweight.
Yeah, she's a fucking heavyweight because you see her every night just the show, A Current Affair, cutting back to her after a story of a shonky builder or neighbours yelling at each other and her just going, I don't think they'll be doing that again. Saying some snide shit.
The smarmy, like when they've cut away from the story and he's just like, Tom Smith, A Current Affair news, and it comes back to like, well, doesn't look like the market will be open this week.
Yeah.
What?
Looks like they'll be eaten without chopsticks. It's like, this is what you paid the big bucks for, Tracy? But like, after seeing that night after night, it's like, oh no, she'll fucking just tear anyone to shreds. And
She's almost getting a comedy like stand-up bits and just like, I guess that's why they call them boat people.
Yeah, yeah, dude. All that's missing from her little quips is like, a little
Stick around because Sophie Monk is hosting this season's Beauty and the Geek.
Yeah, my favorite is when she has to switch the tone up and go from like a really light when they've accidentally pressed a really light issue next to like fucking a child molestation story or something, and she's like has to be like or like change from a really high tone like, oh my god, aren't those dogs in the tutus just so cute?
Yeah,
I'd love to see them down at the dog park. On a different note, these kids have been.
It's just so sad. You just have to feel for those people who have their pension stolen off you. Coming up next!
Where can you get the next Botox injection?
What?
The magic pill that says you don't have to exercise.
Bulk build penis enlargements.
It's like, Tracy,
how is this news?
You know when they cut to the ad break, she's like, who put the dancing dog story next to the fucking Holocaust survivors?
Get the guillotine out for the producer. We're chopping him. He's on the chopping block right now.
Yeah, that man did not make it past Tracy's reign.
No, not at all.
So, I mean, she's been around the block and like you don't make it. You don't survive, 40 plus years in the industry if you're not doing something
She's
right.
got to be late 50s.
Yeah. She's got to be late 50s, so she must have been working. I was reading before she stepped into Channel 9 studios at 21.
Oh, shit.
So she's been just in media forever.
Yeah.
Fun fact, wanted to be a vet.
Ah. So
but she was a sook at seeing animals in pain.
Oh, so she'd rather see the lower socioeconomic in turmoil.
Yes. She can stomach that. A doggy with a sore paw? No.
Cute pets? Fine. Actual animals who can speak? Get them, boys.
Yeah, ruin a man's livelihood? I'm okay with that.
That's good content.
Are you going to get into the, can we talk about, was it Wedgman Movers?
Yeah.
Removalists?
So we tried to watch two actual current affair episodes, and majority of it was COVID bullshit, but they went into the removalist cat burglars.
Yes.
I think it was Wedgman removalists.
Wedgman removalists. They fucking, the use of alliteration on these on the news and A Current Affair in general, like the start of this Wedgman story. Is it Wedgman?
I think it's Wedgman.
Wedgman removalists. They're like some removalists who are just not giving people their shit back.
These house moving hacks.
Yeah, it's like, why does everything have to start with the same letter? Even though in the Bogan episode, it's like the Bogans from Buffalo versus what was the teacher's name?
The mother of Myrtle.
The mother of Myrtle. It's like, are we watching a fucking superhero film?
Because
like,
it's catchy. Keep up.
It's like, fuck, as I said, the sooner these shows die off, it's like
The sooner like brain cells will stop leaking out of our ears.
And it's like our generation aren't any better, not to go on a rant, but like we'll just be watching dumb shit on like TikTok, but like our parents think we're dumb because we just spend all day going and scrolling on Instagram. It's like you watch a current affair and think it's real news.
Yeah,
so
exactly.
You're not that much better.
What's worse, me flicking through TikTok or watching aimless YouTube videos for 6 hours and staying up until 1 before work the next day, or watching the news and thinking I'm informed because I know that washing detergent's cheaper at Coles this week than it is at Woolies, and there's a guy in Western Sydney stealing old people's pensions.
Yeah. I think I pick your poison, but I'm going to stick to Cumtown clips.
I'll intentionally get dumber instead of getting dumber and thinking I'm actually informed.
Yeah, at least I'm self-aware, Mum.
Just turn up to like the next like dinner party and like, oh yes, have you seen what's been happening on the news? It's like, yes, I saw there's a pedophile who's living close to his victims and he's allowed to just walk around.
Yeah. I've got a talking point.
Yep.
I remember my mum, when she used to run a business, was like, I have to watch a current affair every night because I have to have something to talk about with my clients. I'm like, anything else? Anything else you can relate with?
This is how bad it is, because it's the idea that you're watching something that's keeping you informed on something that is critical for you to be aware of what's going on in society, and then like just through word of mouth, the poison spreads. Like the plague just infests the whole community. Just like, did you see what's been happening with COVID this week? Oh, it's horrible in Sydney. It's terrible. There's not enough vaccines going out.
Word of mouth. Fear spreads like wildfire.
Thank God Scott's looking after us.
Yeah, and then it's like, what? Did you see Tracy? You just give it to Scott on the weekend. It's like. That's a talking point.
She's taken after the battlers.
But it's like, it shows that it's not actual journalism. It's like, it's entertainment. You know, it's like fucking, it's like Game of Thrones. It's like, oh, did you see her fuck that guy up? It's like, he's not a politician, he's a character.
Yeah. But the power that they hold is like second to none. Like going back to the Wedgman removalist story, basically these guys, they'd move, they interviewed a couple of people, one family that moved from Melbourne to Perth to get away from COVID, and they ended up losing apparently $63,000 in furniture and assets in the move, because the people the removalists, they actually never went into the reason like of what happened. It was just like they lost it, I guess, or like no, they stole it.
Yeah, it just disappeared.
I moved to the Gold Coast and I had to buy, and just all the depressing shots of people who have like inflatable mattresses in their new like Ray White rented real estate,
empty houses and like new build fucking Gold Coast, and there's nothing there.
Yeah, just a fucking just a stove pot on a hot plate with an inflatable mattress that's half deflated.
She's like, we're eating out every day. I can't afford any more Zambreros off Uber Eats. That's sad.
It is. Yeah, you probably shouldn't laugh at it.
I've got a family of four and they can't do more Maccas. They just can't.
There's only so much Hunky Jacks in the world.
But yeah, they spend it's a hit piece on Wedgman removalists, and they just, drag them through the mud.
Yeah, someone fucked over Rupert Murdoch over at Wedgman.
Yeah. And then at the end of the episode, like basically the whole story is, again, not investigative journalism. It's just sob stories of people who, rightful sob stories. It is sad. They're like, we have all of our shit tied up in this place. They never gave it back to us. And then at the end of it, it cuts back to Tracy, and she just goes, we reached out for a comment from Wedgman removalists, but they've gone into voluntary liquidation as of today.
They're kaput.
It's like they heard that ACA were doing a story on them. They were like, fuck it.
I mean,
we're done.
And that could go either two ways. Is that just like, oh, our stock's about to crumble, like we're not going to make any more sales? Or is it just like a quick, like, all right, pack up and leave, boys.
Flee the state.
The money laundering bit's over. We got to get out of here.
Yeah. Don't let Tracy in here fucking with her sniffer dog. She'll find something bad.
How about the guy he was like a subcontractor for Wedgman? He's like, I own my own removalist company. He's like, hey, my name's Dale, and I'm a subby for Wedgman. I work for my own company, and I've lost $200,000. How did you come up with that number?
I'd love to see the numbers on how you were owed, how you made $200,000 for what, driving? Was he a driver or was he a removalist?
I think he was a truck driver, yeah.
So you made $200,000 and you weren't paid a single dime of it. I think you might be adding a few zeros to that number, mate, but
It's
Could
all
be wrong.
It's all about hyperbole on ACA.
Yeah, I wouldn't. They're not in the business of fact checking. They trade in hyperbole.
They got to accentuate the agony on a current affair.
Yes, it's ACA. It's ACA.
ACA.
It's one DACA away from ACDC. It's one DACA away from Thunder.
Tracy.
ACA DACA.
Poor people gonna take advantage of you on camera.
That's Tracy's sign-off line with every interview. She's like, "You've been thunderstruck." Just giving it to Matty Johns.
Yeah, Grimshaw struck.
Yes.
And they're going down. Just her in an Angus Young outfit with the baggy hat on.
That's so hot. We've talked about Princess Leia as a sexual awakening in the fucking golden bikini. Tracy Grimshaw in the Angus Young
In an
type.
11-year-old boy's school uniform. Turn up the heat. God damn, it's middle of winter, but I'm sweating.
The high socks with the girders.
She's doing the move on stage, the heel in front with the guitars.
Doing the knee check. You've been
Grimshaw struck.
fucking oath. Show me that. Show me that. If that's not, we need a fan video. When we blow up and we have enough of a fan base to exploit, that's the first thing that I want to use them for.
It's my next Halloween costume. People are like, oh, so did you come as Angus Young? I'm like, no, I'm Tracy Grimshaw in a schoolboy's outfit out to take advantage of the lower socioeconomic suburbs.
I'm ACA. I'm ACA DACA.
I'm Grimshaw struck.
I'm Grimshaw struck. I'm a current affair plus a DACA. Get it? What do you mean? Is that confusing?
Come on, keep up.
What is there not to get?
You don't watch the news, idiot?
6 p.m. every channel, every night on Channel 9.
Any more stupid questions?
You big dum-dum.
You fucking idiot.
You're really embarrassing yourself.
Talk about uncultured. This guy doesn't watch a current affair.
Uneducated, uncultured, grow up. Tracy Grimshaw.
Tracy Grimshaw. And so we got through the better part of 2 current episodes, and then we moved on to just like some of the best bits, which you can technically free to air. It's all on YouTube. You can, if you just type in the current affair, you'll just find some of the best clips, some of the best stories in Australian media.
Ones that come to mind, I'm thinking of just iconic current affair moments.
Corey Worthington.
He's in the intro.
He's in the intro.
So actually, yeah, current affair did make it to our intro. We didn't even notice.
Yeah. It's just snuck in there.
The Trojan horse.
Just like every cameraman who sneaks up on unsuspecting dodgy investors, it snuck into our intro.
Corey Worthington, iconic moment. The man with the dogs. The man who he was talking about the dogs.
They came I think that was Channel 7, actually. You mean they came bounding down the road and
I'm pretty sure it's current affair, dude.
okay.
I'm going to challenge you on it. You're going to look it up?
I mean, keep going. So we had Matty Johns.
We had Matty Johns. Anything else that comes to mind as far as iconic moments go? No.
It was a current affair. Dogman was a current affair. You were right.
Thank you.
I could have sworn I remember 7 thumbnail in the bottom hand corner when he was fucking chewing his wife's ear off.
ACA.
And they did a follow-up story of that guy as well. This guy's
They did, hey?
It was like before YouTube started really popping off. They're like, oh, this thing's going viral.
Yeah. Let's see what Dogman's up to. And I think he calmed down a bit in the second.
No,
he
he didn't.
still a psycho?
So like, yeah, he's like, his first interview was like, his wife was sitting next to him and he's like, they came bounding down the road and then, and she's like, she like flinches every time he does it because he's like, looks like he's about to chew her earlobe off.
Yeah.
And then the second follow-up story, she's nowhere to be seen. She's like, I don't want any part of you trying to, and they're like, can you show us your impersonation again? And they got him to do it and he does it for like, what feels like an eternity. It's like 15 seconds of him just like, is that enough? Just
Like, that's uncomfortable. It's like when you're leaning into the bit, it's like, oh, it's like when the current affair people have like cottoned on to the fact that they've got a hot meme that like young social media have got, and then they're like, oh, let's fucking rinse it for what it's worth.
Yeah.
It stops being funny.
Yeah,
That's
absolutely.
how you kill a meme.
So yeah, he's probably, he's up there. I mean, what I showed Tom before was Jeffrey Leonard. If you don't know who that is, just YouTube ACA Jeffrey Leonard. He's 2005 was probably Ray Martin's biggest story on the ACA desk before. This is pre Grimshaw, and it's they go and interview this this child molester who basically he was in jail for a long period of time.
Rife with comedy, this bit.
Oh,
Rife with comedy.
Oh God! It's
Started with child molester. You know we're in safe territory.
oh yeah, God yeah. We're in deep waters. We've got our floaties, just like the kids who Jeffrey Leonard molested. No. So no. But yes. So yeah, Jeffrey Leonard, he abused some boys and then moved back into the neighborhood that were like the boys lived in like Western Sydney. Obviously grown up at that point now, but the families were still around. And they go and interview him, and this guy's just completely deranged.
He's lost the plot.
He's lost the plot.
Mentally ill, clearly.
Yeah.
And when most men, when they see ACA or Ben Fordham running up to him with a camera, most people run the other way or like get into the car. This guy just turns and takes on Ben Fordham face to face.
You want to know? I mean, any time you've had sex, it wasn't with consent.
Yeah, it's like, oh.
It was a very this guy's this is almost too hot to handle for like ACA. As soon like the cameraman knew what they had. He's like, because he's running towards the camera at first, and the cameraman's running away, and the boom mic operator gets in the frame, and he's just pissing himself laughing. Yeah.
He's trying to get in between the guy and the cameraman, the crazy guy and the cameraman to protect him, and he's just grin ear to ear.
Yeah,
it's like, this is perfect.
And Ben Fordham is just like, the guy's like in his face, like nose is probably like half a centimeter away, and he's yelling at him. And Ben Ford's just like wide-eyed, just staring at him like, oh, what have I got myself into today?
Yeah, but you can tell he's licking his lips on the inside as well.
Oh,
it's
yeah.
like, this is beautiful.
This is going to be played for the next 6 months.
Yeah, and that was a case of like, this guy's a convicted child molester, and it is fucked that he can still live on the same street of the children that he molested.
Well, of course, he's also a published writer that's available in multiple libraries around Australia.
Yeah, he wrote his story, and then it was one of those things where usually even child molesters or anyone denies their wrongdoing on camera if there's a camera in their face. This guy's, Ben Fordham's like, so you enjoyed molesting those children? And this guy's just like, yeah, I loved it. And so did they. It's like, oh.
This is pure evil incarnate.
Yeah, this guy's just a madman.
Yeah.
And it's like, and then he writes books about it, and then it's in like the State Library of New South Wales. You can go and like read his memoirs.
Kindi Sutra.
Yeah, I like that. The Kindi Sutra. Yeah, crazy shit. And I mean, ACA must have the best fucking lawyers in town, because we have defamation laws in Australia. Like, how have they not broken? How have they not? They must be just embroiled in lawsuits constantly.
But surely there's also like, there's a certain Teflon that like a News Corp or like any sort of media outlet has, where they're just like, we're out there trying to uncover the truth.
Yes.
And then as soon as if they fuck up or if they overstep the boundary, they can just release a statement saying we were wrong. But at that point in time, like, people remember the accusation, they don't remember the trial going towards the defendant winning.
Of course, yeah. What, like, the damage is done, and you
Already
remember
tainted.
the story, not the apology 3 days later.
Correct.
So they'll, like, rightfully or wrongfully so. I mean, Media Watch is going to do a better job than we ever will of fucking debunking current affairs, shitty journalism.
We can do our damnedest.
We're not in a position to do so. We'll give it a red hot crack. But they, like we said, that Wedgman removalists, they literally sent them into liquidation single-handedly. Like, that's the power that a current affair has.
Just there's no one that is untouched.
There's no one that is untouched. Oh, well, I mean, we were saying before, they'll never take on someone like a higher power with actual corruption. They will never take on a bank or a politician or someone. A heavy hitter. They'll always punch down. Yeah, they'll always take on the little guys
because they're funded by all the big corporations. So they're not going to take on CommBank. They're going to take on a little independent bank that's been stealing people's pension.
Yes, exactly. And when they show up and, you know, chase someone down the street, it's always good to see. There's basically like two approaches you can take when a current affair rock up on your doorstep. You can run away as they shout questions at you and you don't answer them, and you just go the no comment route. Just plead the fifth, and then
which looks bad.
which looks bad because you're guilty by just being asked the question.
No content is still great content.
Yeah, so they'll just cut the clip of why didn't you pay those workers, and then whether you fucking answer it or not, they're going to include the question.
Yep.
Or you can stand there and just cop it and just answer the questions, and then they'll use that to make you look bad.
Yeah, edit it out.
Put you in slow motion, bit of grayscale, zoom in on your face, make you look like a pedophile.
Yeah.
That's the current affair trickery.
Very much like a weird reference here, but like a Scooby-Doo 2, the movie, just like, you want to get a video of me saying, I think Coolsville sucks.
Yeah, dude. I know exactly what you mean.
Yeah, and it's just a video of Fred going, I think Coolsville sucks.
You said it in slow-mo as well. Slow motion.
The saturation was out of your face. There was vignette around the corners, and there was a Inception like score in the background. Just boom.
Evil guy. Yeah, Chase's War and everything like fucking flamed these guys back in the day better than we ever will as well. Where they were just like, it was like Chaz walking down the street and they were just like, look, instant pedophile. He's just doing nothing. But then they like put it in slow motion and put it in black and white. It's like, you shady motherfucker. What have you been up to, Chaz?
Oh, that's a show we should review next.
Chasers. That's fucking...
No,
unfortunately, to dig it out of the archives.
We'll have to dig right through the analog archives. I think that was before digital TV.
Yeah. Yeah, I think it was. Remember like Wednesday nights on ABC back in the day that was like...
You had Spicks and Specs, Chase's War.
Margaret and David.
And I think a cheeky episode of South Park in there as well.
That was the dream.
That was the time.
There was one night on ABC. I remember, on someone's MySpace profile back in the day, it was like, Wednesday nights on ABC is where you'll find me.
Yeah.
Or like something like that was a running meme. It's like the content was that fucking good.
Do not try and talk to me between 7:30 and 10 o'clock on a Wednesday night.
I'm out of commission.
Yeah. I've got Adam Hills.
Adam Hills, I've got M&D, and I've got the Chaser Boys.
Yeah.
What
I've got Chaz Litchie.
and it was fucking like Summer Heights High on the same night when that was coming out. I was
absolutely
like, star stuff.
That was
stacked.
That was. We don't talk about the peak, like the overall general free-to-air landscape, but goddamn, that was the peak of free-to-air content.
Chris Lilly in his prime, going ham. Yeah.
Why didn't we start the show when we were 8 years old, 12 years old?
Fucking give me a time machine. Take me back to the good old days. So yeah, what did you think of A Current Affair? What would you rate it?
I thought it was, I mean, watching it now that I've, like, I honestly haven't seen it, like, voluntarily since I was, I mean, Mum used to have it on when I was 12, 13, 14. So I probably haven't seen it in, 13 years. It was... you don't have you just wouldn't get it on free to air because you don't have a satellite TV in your house. No.
Like you just fucking, as most people don't these days. So it's like, this is truly going the way of the dodo.
It is, yeah, 100%. It's a dying art form, if that's what you want to stretch it that far to call it that. I'd say underwhelming, disappointing, but also gave me a lot to just point and laugh at. The highlights anyway. The stuff we're watching now is just like, this is just sad.
Yeah. Yeah, entertaining but trashy.
So I'd give it, I'll give it an even, it's an odd number, but I'll give it right in the middle, 5 Tracy Grimshaws and Angus Young schoolboy uniforms out of 10.
That's hot.
That is hot.
That is red hot. Dude, we've created a whole new sexual fantasy for a lot of, I don't want to say young boys, because talking about Jeffrey Dahmer.
I'd say some young adults.
Some young adults.
Jeff Leonard, not Jeffrey Dahmer.
Jeff Leonard. Leonard?
Jeff Leonard.
Jeffrey Leonard.
Yeah, Jeffrey Leonard.
But
sorry, go on.
No, it's fine.
Just like when what's the journalist's name again?
Ben Fordham.
Ben Fordham just interviewing you. So he's like, author, pedophile, child molester. And every time he says like he's counting it on his fingers, he's like, yep. He's like, grub. He's like, grub. Yeah, I'm a grub.
Yeah, grub. And he just starts going, Argh. The whole while, his fucking dentures are falling out of his head.
Yeah, I never noticed that until you pointed it out, but the guy's teeth are falling out of his head.
My God, he's literally getting so worked up that you can see his dentures just all coming out of his fucking mouth.
Is this the greatest supervillain Australia has ever seen? Yes.
Yes. His power is fucking. Well, I mean, I suppose he's a supervillain. He doesn't need a power. He can just be evil.
He's evil enough.
His significant trait is him losing his dentures every fucking.
Lex Luthor and Jafar, just the Legion of Doom, just looking at him like, oh, this is too much for me, bro.
Too evil for me.
What would you rate a current affair, Thomas?
Well, I guess I'd have to give it. What did you give it? A 5?
I got a 5. Yeah,
straight down the middle. I can't give it more than a 4.
4.
I'm gonna give it 4 lost dentures out of 10. 4 very loose dentures. 4 very loose dentures of a convicted pedophile out of 10.
Yeah, I think 4's generous. I think 5's overdoing it.
Yeah.
Yeah.
I'm gonna keep that particular rating system is gonna be mine forever now as well.
And a bag of popcorn.
Falling out dentures of a convicted pedophile, like that's what fucking like Seinfeld is gonna get. No context, but it's going to be what Seinfeld. So yeah, fucking fantastic. Thanks so much for coming.
Yeah, so if you do want to check out A Current Affair, you can watch it on Channel 9.
You know where to find it.
Yeah, but just trust us in saying don't watch it. Just go check out the YouTube clips.
Yeah.
If you have made it this far, thank you so much for listening or watching on the air tonight. Give us a like on YouTube, subscribe to our channel so you never miss an episode, and leave a review.
Watch the video because I forgot that I got a fucking mullet this week as well.
Yeah, Tom's got a mullet. I've actually got a proper haircut. We've kind of just like swapped from where the logo initially started, where Tom was a well-trimmed man in a Powers jersey and me in a wife beater and dirty socks. And a mullet.
Flipped it on its head.
We have flipped it on its head, my friend.
Well, I mean, just the haircut, really. If we could just clip your hair and put it on mine,
yeah,
then we'd be good to go.
Yeah, but then you'd have all the power. I'd just be some nerd in a singlet with a crew cut.
Yeah, that would be lame.
Yeah, which I am, I guess.
Well, no, that wouldn't be an accurate representation.
But we will see you next week.
Keep your jocks on.